Once it's live, I'll tell you girls, and then I'm gonna record it as well.
Can you guys hear my air conditioning?
Yeah, I heard it just for a tiny
Is it
bit.
loud?
No.
Okay. I turned it on. I usually don't have it on, but it's hot because I came from a teppanyaki. And like I literally am sweating because of the.
Oh yeah, because there's a lot of like fire and stuff there.
And I had one drink, you guys. Look, I am like pink. My tolerance for alcohol is like.
I was gonna say, you put blush on today.
Yeah, no, it's my natural glow from the alcohol head.
So there we are live, officially live with that comment.
Well, that's when people will watch.
Right.
Yes. Okay.
So tonight we have a special guest with us. And I had to turn it on. Sorry, I had to turn on my a special guest in our live chat. And Janelle and I host this chat every Wednesday at 7:30 Pacific time. Sometimes we do it earlier, but mainly the same time. And it's, our chats come from fitness, dance, and wellness, and the industry. And this chat is super amazing. Not only did I work with her, but she is a female director, writer, and producer. And her name is Melissa Marquez.
Hey guys, how's it going?
And so we wanted to invite you because we see that it's so important to talk to different people, and a woman in the film industry is very, sometimes it's so unheard of because it's mainly men that are directing films. And I think nowadays there's more women directors, producers, even on set, because before it wasn't like that. So we're excited to hear your story, your journey. And I guess first we can just ask you, who is Melissa? How, where are you from? Where did you start? How did you start? And I'll let you start.
Okay, great. Well, first of all, thank you guys for having me here. This is really a cool experience, and I've been watching some of your stuff too. So some of the lives have been really, I've been getting a lot of insights and a lot of cool kind of perspectives on different ladies. So this is really neat. So first of all, I'm originally from Lima, Peru. I immigrated to the US when I was 5. During that time, I guess it was like kind of a difficult transition, especially for me, because I feel like for most of my childhood years, I was kind of introverted. I didn't really want to meet other people because I was so self-conscious of my English and trying to learn the culture. And so it was just a mix of different things there. And I remember, I think it was our second Christmas, my dad saved enough money to buy our first family video camera. And during that time, I was very curious to see, oh, this is kind of neat. I'll just play with it, and did a little,
Wait, so sorry. You were muted in the Clubhouse. So sorry. So guys, we're live on YouTube and Facebook, but we're also live on Clubhouse. So whenever you're talking, we're just gonna unmute ourselves on Clubhouse.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, guys. Yeah.
So can you hear me now?
There you go, Melissa. Yeah, no, okay. Not yet. You're still muted. It's the little mic in the bottom. I don't think you can see it. The little mic.
Oh, I don't see a mic actually. Oh, that's interesting.
Because you see how your face is muted in Clubhouse?
Let me try something actually and see if that works.
We do have different phones, so that's also another cause.
Yeah, because I'm trying to do Bluetooth, but Bluetooth is on the laptop right now.
Yeah.
And then I guess Clubhouse, I'm doing it through my phone, but for some reason my phone is
It used to do that to me too. You're not the only one. I sometimes just turn off the Bluetooth on my phone so it doesn't pick up the Bluetooth on my headphones.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. And
So it's
yeah,
not
it's
like
not
back and
popping
forth.
up. Yeah.
Oh no.
Sorry.
Let's
I'm
see if
not
we
sure
can
what's
ask
going
you.
on.
Can we ask her to unmute herself on there? No. You can't ask her, right? Oh, there. Oh, there.
Hello?
Now you're on. So now move her back into the Clubhouse.
Oh,
Technical
now it's joined as a
difficulties. Yeah.
speaker. Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yay. You don't have to mute. Just
Just leave it
we'll just
on.
mute. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. Perfect. Now you can continue with your story because it's amazing. Here we go.
Oh, do you want me to start from the beginning? Or
You can start where you left off.
continue where I left off? Okay. So yeah, no, I was just very curious to have kind of like the first family camera in my hands and kind of play with it and try to just get like random documentaries of my family's day to day. Sometimes they found that annoying, but I didn't care. So I kind of just loved doing that, just being behind the camera. And so that's kind of where it all started for me. I later on, I mean, it was interesting because I wanted it to first be an animator because I also love drawing and I would do like my little storyboards. And so I knew that I just wanted to kind of pursue something related to that, you know, and went into college, but I didn't get into the animation program. So I thought, well, I'll see if maybe I figure something else out. But then I got into my first film set that one of my film professors, because we had to take intro to animation as part of the prereq. And I just kind of fell in love with like how a film set works, like what it takes to actually make a movie, which in my mind prior to that, I was like, well, it shouldn't be all that bad. It seems like it's all fun, but it is a lot of hard work, you know, and every little moving piece and every person that makes a film set, just how the collaboration happens. I think that's one of the main things that attracted me to it. And, you know, and it's just kind of like we have people from different backgrounds and different perspectives, but we're all kind of in this together to make the movie, you know, and that's like our main goal. And after that, I was like, well, I definitely want to do writing and directing and producing, you know, and so I started actually doing a dance short. Like that was like one of the first things I produced with one of the dance faculties at my college. And she actually didn't know a lot about film. So we kind of like taught each other. She taught me a little bit about, okay, this is how movement is, like a kind of more technique about dance, which I was very unfamiliar with because I didn't do a lot of dancing growing up. I was like kind of lost as to like, okay, I didn't know it involved all these like little things too that film has as well. And she wasn't aware of like all the stuff that film involved too. So it was kind of a neat experience. But after that, I was like really curious to know more about dance. And I actually started to take ballroom classes because that's one of my friends actually introduced me to that. And at the beginning, it was very rough because I'm like, wow, this involved a lot more than what I thought it would involve with the technique and like posture and like, but I feel like I took away something really important from that. And that was kind of finding my own inner voice and inner strength because it was interesting. I feel like for the first time, I wasn't behind a camera or behind like something else. It was more like, oh, wow, like people can see me, you know, like I have to, you know, bring my personality and what I know into this. And also like, working as a partnership with your partner, and trying to like bring each other together to make this dance work. And I feel like that was a very important component that I took with me and incorporated it into my work as an artist too. So it was really cool.
And who would know, like a director, dancer, writer, producer, you can, because you did dance,
Oh
and
yeah,
how
no, for sure. And I mean, that's something that I try to incorporate into my short films too, because after that, one of the first movies that I directed, which was actually with Stephani Sosa. So she actually was part of So You Think You Can Dance, one of the seasons, and also part of the Disney Plus series, High School Musical, the series. So
yeah, that girl is so talented. It's just
she's amazing. And actually, it's interesting because I met her when we did that short film. She was 15. And she actually choreographed the whole piece. She danced it, but it was interesting because her family was so involved in like what she was doing, because it's not only her, it's her siblings who also dance. And actually her dad and her mom are both Latino, and they also are immigrants. And the dad actually told me something very important that I didn't understand back then, but I understand more now, seeing her growth. And that was like, it's so nice to have somebody believe in my daughter's talent. And I was like, well, why wouldn't somebody believe in your daughter's talent? Like, she's really talented, I thought. But something that she actually mentioned in one of her interviews was that she struggled with body image because she's a Latina dancing ballroom dance. And she's like, I always felt that I had to be a certain look, and because Latinas were kind of on the curvy side sometimes, and but I think just I didn't know I was making an impact on somebody's life just by doing a short film with like a short dance film. And I mean, that's really cool to see that, in her, and actually see how much dance has been such an impact for me as a immigrant and director. And because that was something I always struggled with, was trying to figure out where I fit into the bigger puzzle piece,
And I know you mentioned, so dance was introduced to you in the university. So you were doing your major for film, and you were dancing ballroom. Tell us a little bit more how because I love how in all your short films you either have dancing or movement, and the importance of that, because I think a lot of directors kind of skip that, or they think, oh yeah, there's going to be a dancing part. But working with you as a choreographer, I liked how involved and how you knew it wasn't just the dance part. Like, you knew the angles, what you wanted. You didn't just cut through the face and just, well, I still haven't seen all the footage, but what I've seen is like that you created, a little bit more in the background of it's not just a dance, it's an art form, like you said. And it's just as difficult as writing or directing, because it has a partner and it has so that's why when I worked with you, I was like, she's amazing, because you understand. You're not just cutting, sometimes directors just zoom into the face while you're doing the hardest trick of the whole thing. And you're like, well, you just missed the whole dance.
Yeah, no, it bothers me sometimes when I see that too in other people. But thank you, Lorena. That means a lot. The comment. I think what goes on is because I have that background with knowing what hard work goes on to the actual steps and the meaning of like the technique. I feel like, for example, when we were filming that rumba scene with you and Arthur, I wanted to capture as many different angles because I know that movement is what really brings us in too. And like it brings more of that emotion too. Because if we miss a piece of that, I think we're missing that emotion component for sure. So.
You're muted. You're muted
Oh.
on YouTube. There you go.
There we go. Hi. Yeah, this is my first time meeting Melissa. So yeah, I've worked with Lorena just in dance and Pilates and things like that. So when she mentioned you, I was like, oh, that's so awesome. You know, that she's bringing a film director. I also have a friend that is a director. Her name's Lee Broda, but she's more, she brings in like together Israeli or Middle Eastern women, writers, directors, and things like that. But I'm not in that group because I'm a Pacific Islander. So like, I'm like, oh man, I wanted to join, or like, I wanted to like, learn more about what it would take to be a writer, or, just kind of curious just to learn about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I hope that I get her on at some point so that, we can kind of see, how she's gone through her journey too, because I know she's a poet and she wrote poems and she does all those Sundance festivals too and all those things.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, so welcome. Yeah, thank you for telling us that and really highlighting dance, in the right way. Through your films and really showing that emotion that is very important for dance because I also did a film for just like a short thing for the sex trafficking and that took so much time because I was like producer, director, and choreographer. It's just like a little thing, but it took a lot of work and it took a lot of hours and when you don't know everything. So I know what it's like and how hard you guys work for, the actual shot and like, so yeah, I just wanted to say thank you.
Oh yeah, no, you're welcome. And yeah, I feel like Lorena said earlier, it's rare to see a woman director. And I feel like it's even rare to see a Latina or somebody who's in the minority kind of just being a director. And I feel like, that's another thing why I want to do this, because I feel like I'm doing something very important here too, where it's like, I want like little girls to see that, oh, wow, there's a woman director who's Latina. Because I didn't have that growing up too. That was another thing. I would look up to like Steven Spielberg or directors, but they were mostly just, white male directors. And it would have been nice to see somebody who looked like me, who was doing things in the industry that I could look up to. And I mean, now I feel like there's a lot more, but we still have like a long way to go. And I feel like as the new generation comes up, like we can definitely try to encourage more of that like diversity in the industry for sure.
And you brought a good point. That was my question. One of my questions was, who inspired you the most in the film industry and why? Because, as a dancer, as a performer, like everybody has their one dancer or their one movie that they remind, oh, I want to be just like that. For you, what was that you saw, or who was it? Or, I know you did animated and film, so you can maybe have a little bit of both.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, the first like things that come to my mind is like, well, the first Disney movies that I would see, like, because my family like would show me all these Disney movies. Like I would watch, for some reason, I watched a lot of Alice in Wonderland. I'm not sure why I was attracted to that movie, but I think it just had to do with like the color and how vibrant it was. And I'm like, oh, that's so neat. And like, but as time went on, I feel like Steven Spielberg, for example, with E.T., like I feel like I was very attracted to like the fantasy, like kind of like magic behind movie making and like or storytelling, you know. And I think uh I didn't start to really like go deep into like directors and stuff like that until I went to college and learned more about the different movies. A movie that really inspires me is Cinema Paradiso, which is an Italian film. Not a lot of people have watched it, but I think it was in Netflix for a time. I don't think it's there anymore. But it's just the story like spoke to me so much because it has to do with a little boy wanting to be a film director and what he had to go through to make it happen, like in the sacrifices that he had to make. So I recommend people to watch that, especially if they are interested in, you know, kind of like finding their passion and also learning more about the film journey. Like I think that's like such a perfect movie for sure.
What's the name again? Because let me, so I can write it down.
Cinema Paradiso.
Oh, Cinema Paradiso. I like that. Now, what would you recommend? I know as a Latina or anybody, our parents, you know, because my parents are also immigrants. Anybody that, when you say to them you want to be an actor, dancer, writer, director, they're like what?
Oh yeah.
No, doctor, lawyer.
It's like,
make
no, don't do
money.
it.
How was your family? Was it supportive or?
It was pretty much, you know, at the beginning, it was like, well, how are you gonna, I know it's your passion and everything, but how are you gonna live? Yeah. Like that was the first question. It's like, oh man, I hope you're not like homeless or something, you know. But I mean, I feel like it took me going to the film program and actually doing these things, like short films and everything and stuff that I was getting hired on, that I was showing to them, that they were like a little bit more calm because they were like, well, not only is she getting paid for some of these things, but it's mostly because they saw the talent. And I think they were inspired by things that I was creating. And I mean, that brought me joy because I'm like, I don't care if just one person enjoys what I make, you know, like as long as like they take something out of it, you know. And I think my family was probably one of the most important people that I was like, oh, I hope they like it, you know. But yeah, no, they ended up, you know, just being supported at that point, you know. And so that's something that, yeah, in our culture, we try to tell kids, no, you have to be like somebody that just makes money out of college. And like, but like, I feel like it's also important for somebody to pursue like what they love, because I think I look back and I'm like, well, the sacrifices that we made to come to this country, and this is a country where we have such opportunity to be who we want to be, and also, you know, have a way to earn a living at the same time. You know, I mean, it's not easy because the road is really hard, but I think it just takes, you know, you being persistent and determined. And if there's no opportunities out there, because that was one of the things too, I was like, oh, they keep saying on panels, you know, you got to follow your dreams. You got to like, just keep doing it. I'm like, well, it's not just keep doing it, you know, like, I think I realized there was a point where I realized I have to make my own opportunities. If nobody's gonna like give me a chance to direct this movie that I've been writing for a while, which was Ballroom Dreams, then I'm just gonna have to figure out a way to make it happen, you know. And that's what we did, you know.
I'm glad that you brought that up. Tell us a little bit about that movie because it's your recent one. right?
Oh yeah,
Oh, do you have
for
a new
sure.
one? I didn't even
Oh
know.
no. No, that's actually the most recent one that we're going through post-production right now. I mean, I'm currently writing another one, but that one is still like in the works, and we're hoping that maybe next year that we film that one. But for Ballroom Dreams, I mean, I've been writing that since I was in college, actually, when I was doing ballroom, because I was like, I think it would be cool to like write a story about like kind of my own personal experiences with it and put it in a character. And basically the story follows the protagonist, who is a Latina college student, and she's kind of struggling with like things that are happening at home with her mom, because the mom is also in that position where, oh, I hoped for you to be a doctor, you know, or a person that would just, you know, be successful financially. But, and then she kind of sidetracks because she learns to love ballroom dance and wants to just keep going at that. And I think that was kind of like my own personal journey with film, where I feel like there was also that component too of like she had like her immigration status where she couldn't work. She was a dreamer essentially, and I was in that position too. I mean, I'm not in that position anymore because I was able to, with circumstances and requirements, be able to now be a permanent resident. But not a lot of people have that opportunity, and that's something I lived through. And I know how hard like that is too. And I wanted to also touch on that experience in a more relatable way. And that's like what dance did too, is I feel like dance also draws, like, I feel like it could draw people to where we're talking about a difficult subject, but at the same time, it's very engaging and we can feel more of that emotion visually, you know.
Yeah, and that's a very, very strong topic. You know, if nobody knows about what the Dreamers Act is, it's, you know, kids that have the opportunity to go to school, because when you are an immigrant here and you don't have papers, not only do you have to pay for school like triple the amount, right? Something
Oh yeah.
ludicrous. Not like even you know, a community college will be like USC. You know, you can't have a regular job. You can do so many things not having papers. And I witnessed that from a close friend and seeing her struggles. Like, she will apply for jobs and they couldn't take it, or they will give her a promotion and she had to say no. And
yeah, I just couldn't work. I couldn't do a lot of stuff. And
you can't
I feel
drive.
like, yeah, in a way, I describe it as like living like in the shadows. And that's kind of like how I saw this movie too, where Christina, the protagonist, was living kind of in the shadows for a while. And like ballroom dance kind of like just broke that cycle where she was kind of starting to break free from living like kind of in a hidden life. And it's like something I felt too, where it was like, oh, like I feel like I can be a part of something, you know, instead of just being like kind of like in the background, like tucked away, like behind the curtain somewhere, you know. So
It's a great analogy, because I feel like that's true to so many people that are in that position. They feel like they're not seen, they can't do anything. You kind of feel like helpless in a way, because you want to move forward, but there's circumstances that pulling you back. So that's, you know, and that's amazing, the Dreams Act. That's why I support it. I agree with it. I feel like, you know, it's a great opportunity for people. And
oh, for sure.
You got, you know, you're the living proof of it, you know, that you can create, and, you know, with something so amazing. So yeah,
Yeah, no,
Ballroom Dreams.
for
We can't
sure.
wait. We can't watch. She's not gonna
Yes.
tell us too much. We're not gonna ruin the
Yeah, I'm
story.
not gonna dive too much into the
No.
storyline because there's other components in this, but
Okay.
I think, yeah, the most important is like what you said, Lorena, because I do support wholeheartedly like the dreamers, and I want them to, you know, experience like life outside of those shadows, because I think we need to really, I hope that in the future they can have the pathway to citizenship, because this is really their home. But they don't feel that way, you know, because there's things that happen that, you know, they can't work, they can't do these things. And I think we need to realize that, like stories like Ballroom Dreams, you know, like they help even people that may have had, like my hope is that people that have a different perspective in the issue come out thinking maybe just something different from the whole like dreamer topic, for sure.
And then and I respect everybody's opinion. You know, everybody has an opinion, and that's the beauty about life. But you know, it's good to be informed. I
Yeah,
always
of
tell people,
course.
before you start judging people, before you start being on each side, just inform yourself, see
Yeah.
the difference. And with a story like this, like you said, movement is very powerful. I think it's more powerful than words. Sometimes, you know, if you don't hear, or you know, if you're not paying attention, movement can tell you so much more than words.
Oh yeah.
But that's my point of view.
No, of course. No,
Yes.
I agree. Yeah, we all have, like, that's the nice thing about movies, I feel like, because we all come into like the theater or like a streaming, like just with different perspectives and different life experiences. And when we look at a movie and finish it, we come out with a different perspective. We were in somebody else's shoes for like whatever time frame it was that the movie took place. And I think that's what I would love to do, continue to do, you know, and that's like my hope for the movie, is that maybe at least one person comes out with something they didn't know about or they didn't realize. And I think a lot of the times it's like, it has to do with education and knowledge, like you said, for sure.
And I know that I'm just bombarding you with questions, but I know that you are in post production with this movie, right? So when is it? When are you going to do it in the
Oh, like
festivals?
a screening?
Yeah, or tell us
Oh,
more.
yeah, no. So our plan with that is, because it's slowly ramping up. I mean, we had periods of ups and downs with it, especially during the pandemic. And now that I have my pregnancy too. So there's that.
She's pregnant, guys.
Yay.
That's what she's glowing. If you, I was
5 months
gonna tell you at the
pregnant.
beginning.
Yeah, the pregnancy glow. Yeah. But yeah, 5 months pregnant now. So, but I mean, the movie, the plan for the movie was always to like take it to the film festivals. Uh, that was something that I always told Thomas, my husband, is like, because he's the producer in this movie too, which is kind of cool. But I told him, you know, like I want this to be in the theater, because that's how I feel like the experience of movie make. I mean, I love streaming. I love that there's like all these platforms that you have access to, but at the same time, I mean, there's something like, for especially for us filmmakers, is like kind of romantic or nostalgic about a movie theater. And I was like, this has to be in the movie theater. Like, I don't care what film festivals. We got to submit this to as many film festivals as possible, but this needs to be shown in the movie theater, because this is a part of the experience when you hear audiences around you react to the movie that you made, you know. And I know the pandemic kind of took us away from that, but I mean, we're slowly but surely we're going to get there. But that's part of the reasoning why I'm kind of delaying too, because I kind of want that film festival experience for sure. So
Yeah, like we dancers can relate to that. A live performance or pre-recorded, it's not the same. Live performance, you feed off the audience, and the more the better, you know. Whenever you're performing, if it's a lot of people, it's amazing. You get
Yeah,
the energy, like,
Oh,
you know,
yes, for
Janelle?
sure. Yeah.
So I
definitely.
could, I could see that as a director when you're, you know, in the movie theater eating your popcorn, you get to people laugh or cry. I'll be crying, but
And
Yeah,
hi,
no, for
Claire.
sure.
Claire's here too. We have someone in Clubhouse. So
Oh, nice.
Claire,
it's
we're gonna have
Claire.
questions soon. So Claire, you can ask anything you want. Melissa is an amazing director, writer, producer, and dancer because, you know, even she did ballroom. So um, welcome to the dancer club.
Yay.
Well, I had one more question. Just animation. I know you just I that's something new that I found out about you. Um, in the future, are you looking to expand to animation movies?
Yeah, no, that's something I always wanted to do too, is direct an animated film. And I mean, that's probably going to be sometime down the road, because I still need to find kind of the perfect story for when I would decide to do that. Uh, but the movie that I'm currently writing, I mean, I may actually decide to do that as an animated or live action. I'm kind of debating on it, but just to give like a little preview of what that movie will be. I'm going back to like my Peruvian roots with that one, because I I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Peruvian food, but that's something I grew up with, with my mom being in the kitchen and making all these Peruvian dishes. And it just has been really awesome recently that more people are starting to get a little bit more familiar with Peruvian cuisine. And it's just because there's so much variety of our plates and our dishes. And I thought, well, wouldn't it be cool to write about a chef that immigrated with his family from Peru? Like he wants to be a chef, but he starts out as a dishwasher. And I wanted to kind of touch on my dad's perspective, because when he immigrated here, prior to that in Peru, he was a lawyer actually. And then when he moved here, he didn't get to practice law for a while, for many years, because the language was one of the challenges, but also because the degree he obtained was of no good here. And he actually had to go back to school after a number of years. And uh, I saw like his struggle with that, and like, but he was able to do it. And so I was like, oh, I kind of want to like bring that in to a story of a guy that, you know, he wants to pursue being a chef here in the States. So and then there's like
And
different
not
little
to give
things
up,
there.
not to give
Yeah.
up, because your dad did it at the end.
Oh
So
yeah, for sure. And yeah, it's like that's the thing. I always want to bring like kind of my own perspectives into like my films. And I think there's like all these like little stories that I can take here and there, for
and
sure.
everybody can relate to food, right? A
Yeah.
good cooked food. I know Janelle's from Guam, and I'm from
Yes, you guys would
Mexico,
love our food.
and Melissa's from Peru. We have a mix here. If you're not familiar with Peruvian food, God, ceviche
Oh
is
yes.
the bomb.
And I know in LA there's some good places too.
It's a
Where?
no, Carlos. No, is it called? What's it called? The one on Fairfax? Is the one in Fair? No, the one in Hollywood. What's it called?
Yeah, maybe it's, I don't know, I forget. But
Is
there's
it
one
Mario's?
in Garden Grove that I went to
Mm-hmm.
that has like it's called Pollo la Brasa.
Pollo la
Mm,
brasa.
Yeah, there's a good
we
place there
love
in
this.
Garden Grove.
Okay, I
For
need it.
like if you search it up, it's I forget the name, but if you Google it, it's just Pollo la Brasa Garden Grove, and it's like the one that's rated higher on Google. So yeah.
Yeah, they do. The cuisines are different. It's not only ceviche. There's pollo. I love la papa. It's a potato.
Oh yeah,
the
there's a
creamy
potato, a
sauce.
boiled potato with the cream, right?
What is that called?
Papa la huancaína.
So good, Janelle. You like this stuff is
Yeah.
like you can put that cream anywhere. I put it on fish. I put it in the rice.
Oh yeah, and if you put it on French fries, like that's the best thing
Oh
ever.
yes. And then the corn that they use, so Peruvian corn is a little bit thicker than the Mexican corn, right? Am I correct? Or
Yeah, I think because the Mexican corn I think is smaller, right?
Yeah.
Than the kernels of the Peruvian corn. Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm so hungry right now.
Oh man,
So-
it's time for dinner for me too.
Yeah, me too. We're cutting it short. Well, before we leave and eat, I guess we can bring up Claire and have if Claire has any questions in Clubhouse, but say goodbye on YouTube and Facebook. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Melissa, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, no, thank you guys for having me. It's been a pleasure, and yeah, no, hope to see more of you guys' work too, and I'll be looking out for that for sure. So.
Yes, we'll be looking out for you. We can't wait for Ballroom Dreams to come out and your future projects. Thank you so much for your time, and we'll see you later.
Yeah, thank you guys. We'll see ya. Have a good night.
I will, but stay with us for Clubhouse.